What's up, folks? It's your buddy Fatalroadie. Tonight we're going to be doing the Raw recap. Started off tonight with Kurt Angle coming out. Shortly afterwards, the Three Stooges came out to join him. The Miz started bitching and crying, as he always does, about the IC title not being defended at No Mercy. To which Kurt Angle tells him that there's going to be a fatal four-way tonight with Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Jason Jordan, and Elias Sampson. The Miz tells Kurt Angle that he's showing favoritism to Jason Jordan, to which Jordan comes out, says, "You say one more bad thing about Kurt Angle, I'm going to punch your teeth down your throat." Jason Jordan says he has an idea that he wants Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel into the match. That way, The Miz has nothing to cry about if they lose. The Miz then calls Jason Jordan incompetent, just like his father, to which Jason Jordan spears The Miz and clears the ring. Which brings us to our first match, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Shortly after the match starts, Alexa Bliss tries to run up the ramp and get away. Sasha Banks' music hits, and she chases Alexa Bliss back down the ramp right into Nia Jax, who levels her. Afterwards, Nia Jax continues to ragdoll Alexa Bliss to get the pin. After the match, Sasha Banks comes in and jumps Nia Jax, and Nia Jax beats up Sasha Banks. Bayley comes out, and in between Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss, all three of them spear Nia Jax, and she rolls out of the ring. The three of them stand tall, and then Sasha Banks and Bayley beat down Alexa Bliss. We then have a recap of last week with Strowman and Lesnar. The next match, which is supposed to be just a tag team match, Sheamus and Cesaro versus The Club. Sheamus and Cesaro get on the microphone and start running down the other tag teams. Then Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins comes out. They run down Sheamus and Cesaro. The Club come out and they run down both Sheamus and Cesaro and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
Up a pattern here.
Then everyone starts fighting. Ambrose and Rollins clear out the ring. So instead of just a tag team match, we have a six-man or a three-team tag team match, which really wasn't a great match. I wasn't too crazy about it. Sheamus and Cesaro won it. We then have a promo for Reigns and Cena. Brings us to our next match of Curt Hawkins versus Apollo Crews. Looks like they're finally going to be using Apollo Crews after I don't know how many months. Before the match, Curt Hawkins says he's going to break his 114 loss record. This match was a total waste. Apollo Crews won it, so I guess the loss record for Curt Hawkins is 115 now. We then have an interview with Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, which was pretty much 6 minutes of nothing but my dick bigger than yours. We come back with Reigns coming out, and he does nothing but run down John Cena. So between these two segments and the commercials, it was nothing but 25 minutes wasted. We then have our next match, Bray Wyatt versus Goldust. Goldust was introduced as his real name, Dustin Rhodes. He came out with no face paint. This was another waste of a match. After the match, Finn Balor is up on the screen. He talks about how he became the Demon and what is more dangerous, the Demon or the man who created the Demon. Basically, it's just another Bray Wyatt promo done by Finn Balor. We then come to what is probably the best part of the entire show, which was a Bobby Heenan retrospect. Bobby Heenan passed away this weekend at the age of 73. He was a manager, commentator, presenter, probably one of the first heel managers that I've ever seen since I started watching wrestling. Probably my all-time favorite heel manager. Throughout the night, they were posting tweets from other wrestlers and people who have been associated with Heenan. He was known as Bobby the Brain Heenan. Some people called him the Weasel. He was really good at putting people down, and like I said, he was an excellent manager. We then have Enzo Amore come out to the top of the ramp, running his mouth as usual. Then Braun Strowman's music hits. Braun Strowman comes out and levels Enzo. He drags him into the ring. Enzo laid out. He picks him up from the laying position straight up into a choke slam and then follows it up with a power bomb. The crowd was chanting "Thank you, Strowman," which I kind of agree with. As Strowman's walking back up the ramp, Neville's music hits, and as Neville's walking out, he gives Strowman a very wide berth as they pass. Neville comes out, gets on the top rope, gives Enzo a red arrow, grabs a mic, and asks Enzo, "How's he doing?" Which brings us to our next match, Neville versus Grand Metalik. This was another waste of a match. Nothing really to comment on. Neville won it. And we have our main event, the six-pack challenge for the number one contender for the IC title. Elias Sampson, Jason Jordan, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. This was probably match-wise the better of all the matches tonight. The Miz was interfering in and out throughout the whole match. Jason Jordan won it. Afterwards, The Miz gets into the ring and faces off with Jason Jordan. He tries to cheap shot Jordan, to which he gets suplex for his troubles. Dallas and Axel come out and start beating on Jordan. The Miz gets up and all three Stooges beat down on Jason Jordan. The Miz gets on the microphone and tells Jason Jordan that Kurt Angle is a terrible father and Jason Jordan will still be a bastard. That ends this episode of Raw. This episode just straight sucked. Like I said, probably the best point of the show was the Bobby Heenan retrospect, followed by the six-pack challenge. Everything else was drawn out, wasted, took too long, not needed. Definitely one of the worst Raws I've seen. But I'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back tomorrow for the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought of this video. If you like it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.